Good afternoon and welcome to Baccalaureate, a time of celebration for the class of 2020. Baccalaureate is an ancient tradition, one that recognizes and pays tribute to those completing their time at an institution of higher learning. It is also a time where classmates, professors, and other members of the college community charge the class to go forth and use their knowledge to improve and to make a difference in the world. Class of 2020, today is no different, except unlike the baccalaureates at Oxford University in the 15th century, today you watch your chaplain begin this special ceremony on your iPhone, or maybe on a high-definition television in your parents' living room. Nevertheless, our purpose is the same: to celebrate you, honor you, and send you forth with pride and great love. Our invocation to call this gathering to order is titled "The Art of Enduring" by poet Jan Richardson from her collection, Circle of Grace. This blessing can wait as long as you can, longer. This blessing began eons ago and knows the art of enduring. This blessing has passed through ages and generations, witnessed the turning of centuries, weathered the spiraling of history. This blessing is in no rush. This blessing will plant itself by your door. This blessing will keep vigil and chant prayers. This blessing will bring a friend for company. This blessing will pack a lunch and a thermos of coffee. This blessing will bide its sweet time until it hears the beginning of breath, the stirring of limbs, the stretching, reaching, rising of what had lain dead within you and is ready to return. Class of 2020, you've each been a blessing to this community in so many ways. We give thanks for who you are and who you are becoming. Please join me in welcoming President Allison Byerly to continue today's program.
Members of the class of 2020, I'm sorry we're not together, but I'm glad to have a chance to congratulate you on this special day and to welcome you to our baccalaureate program. Baccalaureate is traditionally a prelude to commencement, and I'm hoping that while the time frame might be a bit elongated, this will still turn out to be a stepping stone on the way to a shared celebration together. As I speak to you now, I have a special picture on the screen of my laptop. I'd like to see if I can share it with you. Does this look familiar? It's fall 2016, the opening convocation of the year. This is a picture I took with my phone from the stage just before beginning my remarks. As you might recall, it was a beautiful afternoon, and it was a pleasure to start getting to know students who would go on to have a remarkable impact on this college. I have been enormously proud to watch you grow and develop from nervous first years to successful seniors and campus leaders. In the classroom, on the athletic fields, on the stage of the Weiss Theater, in student government sessions, in meetings and demonstrations in Farranon or on the Quad. You've shared your talents and you've made your voices heard. You have not shied away from difficult issues, and you've not been afraid to challenge yourselves, challenge each other, or challenge the institution to do better. We have all benefited from your energy and commitment. Several years ago, I taught a course at Lafayette, a semester-long English course called Fictional Worlds. Among the texts we read as examples of imaginative world building, a class favorite, of course, was Tolkien's Fellowship of the Ring. There's a well-known passage in Book 1 that I think resonates with your experience. "I wish it need not have happened in my time," said Frodo. "So do I," said Gandalf, "and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us." It's hard not to think of this moment in time in terms of loss, but you have already demonstrated that you're able to make good use of the difficult time you were given. You've managed in spite of extraordinary challenges to finish your courses and complete your college career, and you should feel proud of what you've accomplished and confident about your future. Many things about the world are uncertain, but what is clear is that you are ready for its challenges. Congratulations to each of you. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Hi everyone, I wanted to congratulate you on your graduation. I know that these are incredibly unprecedented times for everyone, and I'm so impressed with how you have all been able to come together these past few months. Your class, in many ways, is in a unique moment. You are in the midst of a transition in your lives as the world itself undergoes an immense transition and transformation. With so much uncertainty, what lies ahead for many of you can seem incredibly daunting and even scary. I hope that you're able to use this moment to reflect on your time at Lafayette and think about what you have learned and unlearned and how you have grown in the past 4 years. The relationships you've built, the experiences you've had, and the knowledge that you have obtained will continue to shape you and help guide you for what lies ahead. I've been personally reminded of the fact that, pandemic or not, life can be extremely uncertain. We may have a plan in our minds for how we would like things to work out, for the job that we want to land, or the travels that we have planned, and it just doesn't turn out that way. But if we might take any lessons from these past few months, it might be this. We have within us the capacity to adapt, the capacity to be innovative, and the capacity to be compassionate. We have seen this in the incredible ways that people all around the world in this country have come together, including at Lafayette in this time. But moments like this also lay bare the fault lines in which many of us are able to witness the immense inequalities that make up life for those around us and beyond, whether it is that of class, race, gender, nationality, or citizenship. Most importantly, I hope you will use this moment that we are in as an inspiration for you to build a better and more just world. Congratulations again, you have a lot to be proud of.
Welcome faculty, family and friends, and my fellow members of the class of 2020. My name is Brandon Posvack, and I'm truly honored to be a speaker at this baccalaureate ceremony. Today is a very special day. Today that should be celebrated, because today marks the end of our last chapter at Lafayette and the beginning of our new chapter in the real world. Lafayette is a unique place. It is unique because of the people. And during my 4 years, it was the people who allowed me to realize my talents and who showed me how to use my talents to better myself and to better those around me. And as we transition into the real world, Lafayette has taught me that it's not about achieving success and accruing wealth in life. It's about cultivating my what, my how, and my why. Lafayette taught me that my what is what I can specifically do in my job and in my life to achieve my goal of affecting positive change in other people. Lafayette taught me that my how is how I will be able to realize that what, specifically what I can do differently from other people to affect positive change. And Lafayette taught me most importantly that my why is my personal motivation and my reasoning for wanting to affect other people positively in the first place, and showing me that dedicating myself to my community and to those around me will most help me create a meaningful impact on the world. I think this is truly embodied in an anecdote by motivational speaker Jay Shetty. He talks about a primary school teacher and how she gives an assignment to her students. In the assignment, she says on an index card, write down one word for what you want to be in life. That night when she was reviewing the answers, she saw that her students put down president, astronaut, actor, athlete, scientist. But there was one response that confused her. So after class the next day, she called that student in. She said to the young boy, I think you misunderstood the assignment. You put down happy. I asked you what you wanted to be in life. The young boy looked up at the teacher and said, no, ma'am, I think you misunderstood life. That young child realized that it wasn't about the money or the status associated with the job. It was about the meaningful work and about the ability to affect others in a positive way. Similarly, Lafayette has taught us that as we are inheriting this new world, we should strive to make it the best we can possibly be. And we should strive to leave it in a better place for the generation that follows us. This is echoed by Roy T. Bennett, the author of The Light in the Heart, as he says, be the reason someone smiles today. Be the reason someone feels loved and believes in the goodness of people. Lafayette taught us to believe in the goodness of people. Congratulations to the class of 2020, and I couldn't be more proud to be a part of it. This journey that we're on right now starts today, and although it's a long one, I'm excited to see what we can accomplish together. We made it.
This is not the senior spring any of us had imagined. We hadn't imagined missing final games and tournaments, finishing out theses, senior projects, and capstones remotely, wearing masks and gloves in our final moments on campus instead of caps and gowns. We hadn't imagined being conferred awards, honors, and degrees via mail. Through all of this, however, the resilience of the class of 2020 has stood out to me. Over the past 2 months, I have watched members of our class successfully pivot experimental projects to analytical ones, plan online events to maintain the Lafayette community, work hard at transitioning out of their leadership roles to ensure future success, and continue to voice student concerns, whether on campus or from afar. We have been challenged time and again in our 4 years on campus, but we have pushed through. And now, at the end of our college career, I invite you to once again try to praise the mutilated world with a poem by the same name. Try to Praise the Mutilated World was written by Adam Zagierski, a Polish poet, and translated by Claire Kavanagh. Try to praise the mutilated world. Remember June's long days and wild strawberries, drops of rosé wine, the nettles that methodically overgrew the abandoned homesteads of exiles. You must praise the mutilated world. You watched the stylish yachts and ships. One of them had a long trip ahead of it, while salty oblivion awaited others. You've seen the refugees going nowhere. You've heard the executioners sing joyfully. You should praise the mutilated world. Remember the moments when we were together in a white room and the curtain fluttered? Return in thought to the concert where music flared. You gathered acorns in the park in autumn and leaves eddied over the earth's scars. Praise the mutilated world and the grey feather a thrush lost, and the gentle light that strays and vanishes and returns. Take care.
This is my happy dance because we've made it. Heck yeah, class of 2020. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of me. I'm proud of us because look at us. We just completed online schooling. We are graduated and we have the whole rest of our lives ahead of us. Very cool. I know that this is weird. This is weird. Me filming me. Weird. I don't like it. And I'm in a weird mood. Maybe it's the coffee. Maybe it's the quarantine. Who really knows? Okay, Kyla. But I just wanted to kind of share some insights that I have with you all. And of course, it's in regards to my marathon running. I think I've learned so much from running. And I hope that I can share some insights with you all to kind of take forth with you as we graduate. The first is that a lot of people are like, congrats, you ran a marathon. And I always think that's a weird thing because I physically ran it, but I did not do that alone. There's no way, right? I always had people cheering me on, always had people checking in on me. There were times that I would, run 15, 20 miles and be dead in bed and someone would bring me a protein shake because I couldn't move. I didn't do it alone, and that's the thing about life. We don't do it alone. And so when things are hard and when things seem impossible, ask for help. Humans, we do things together, so don't be afraid to ask for help. The second thing I want to share is my last marathon. I tore my quad in the summer, whatever, and I had to run this last marathon at a much slower pace. And it was hard, and I hated it, and I didn't like it because A, I had expectations that I was going to finish at a certain time, and B, running slow is almost harder because you've got to be mindful of the running, right? So I'm mindful of the hurt and the pain that I'm feeling. This is quarantine. That's what it's done to us. It's asked us to slow down in times that maybe we weren't ready to slow down, but we have no other option. So I think this is a really, really good time to think about, what is the most beautiful life that you can imagine, and get to know yourself even better. Okay, why am I feeling this way? And those are my 2 points that I wanted to very briefly mention to you as we go out into this really unforeseen future, but we're always together, always, and I'm really, really proud of us. Before I end, I wanted to also kind of acknowledge Maddie and Mike, 2 members of the class of 2020 that have passed away. You guys are always with us, always.
Hi, class of 2020. I'm honored to be speaking to you at your baccalaureate, celebrating the tremendous achievements that you have made in your time at Lafayette. Over the last 4 years, I've had a chance to get to know many of you through my classes, through the Posse Network, and through the activities and activism that you have organized on campus. During your freshman year, I watched you grapple with the fallout of a polarizing election that challenged the ability for many of us to feel like we were members of the same community. And now in your senior year, I'm speaking to you in your homes from my home where I've been since spring break, instead of on the grounds of our campus, where we all wanted to be. I know that many of you have had a difficult semester, not knowing if we would be back on campus, not being able to have a senior week and walk across the stage to receive your diploma in front of friends and family, wondering about the well-being of loved ones, and uncertain about what your post-graduation plans will look like. But what I've also seen over the 4 years that you have been at Lafayette, and especially in the last few months as we adjust to life within COVID-19, is your intense commitment to each other and to building community across differences. You have found ways to crowdsource resources for your fellow students who are facing food and income insecurity. You check in with each other, and you even ask how we, your faculty, are holding up during this time, while you are at home contending with taking care of siblings or with challenging family dynamics or the loss of people you know. And all that while having to maintain these connections through a computer screen, one that may or may not even have good Wi-Fi connection. Even though this has been the most challenging time of your college career, I have learned from you in my classes and my other communications how much you value the kinds of learning and living communities that you have fostered at Lafayette. And I hope that you can look at yourselves on the screen today and realize that you don't need the physical space of the campus to make meaningful worlds. You are doing it now, and you will continue to do so. I am very much looking forward to seeing how your paths develop. Congratulations.
Hi everyone, my name is Adriana and I am from Mount Bethel, Pennsylvania. To my fellow members of the senior class, while our time at Lafayette has come to a close, Lafayette's impact and memories will live on through us. The connections we have made with each other and our professors is everlasting. At Lafayette, we have made forever friendships, whether it was inside of the classroom, in extracurricular involvement, or even studying abroad. I personally had the opportunity to join a sorority, be an admissions ambassador, co-start Lafayette's first Italian club, and self-design one of my majors. We have all become well-rounded and involved individuals. We have grown remarkably since walking onto campus for our first year orientation. Lafayette has allowed each of us to find and pursue our own passions. Lafayette's supportive communal environment advocates for each of its students to discover their own path. I know many of us have changed our majors during our time here since our first year. I personally have changed mine 3 times. At Lafayette, our distinguished faculty and academic mentors support us through each decision. I remember sitting in the offices of each of my academic advisors throughout my different majors at Lafayette. Every one of them motivated me to pursue what I wanted to do, even if it was not in their academic field. Like many of my peers, I came into Lafayette not knowing exactly what my future would bring after graduation. However, Lafayette allowed me to reveal my love for learning and teaching. I am now taking graduate classes to obtain my teaching certification and master's in education at DeSales University. This would not have been possible without Lafayette's Common Course of Study, which provides students the opportunity to take classes outside of their major curriculum. While we transition to our next journey, we will always have that continual support from this unique, special community. We are strong. Even though we may be apart during this period, our Lafayette connection still brings us together. Because of our time and experience attending Lafayette, we are well prepared for what life will bring us next. I wish all of my fellow members of the senior class the best of luck. Go Pards!
Whether I'm stuck in a mental rut or feeling really good, I often return to a truly beautiful 3-minute video on YouTube titled An Invocation for Beginnings by Zay Frank. For those unfamiliar with this channel, Zay Frank puts out videos that are at times goofy and entertaining, and other times honest, wise, and emotionally raw. This is about the latter, and I strongly suggest that everyone watches An Invocation for Beginnings to truly understand what I mean. Now, this video packs a lot of wisdom and motivation into 3 short minutes, and while I wish I could mention every single quote, I've chosen one that I think is most appropriate for this occasion. Let me not think of my work only as a stepping stone to something else, and if it is, let me become fascinated with the shape of the stone. Especially right now, it's difficult to find solace in much of anything as the world hangs in limbo. We're collectively emerging from our college careers at a point in time where plans are on hold or have been fully canceled. The few short days, weeks, or months we normally would have had following graduation to relish in our accomplishments, enjoy the summer months, and center ourselves before moving on have unfortunately been taken away from us. To supplant this, I'm sure some of us have probably taken up new hobbies, maybe learning the guitar, or how to bake bread, or reading books we've had our eye on for a while. Others, myself included, may just be trudging along from task to task, feeling a bit lost with where to go from here, which, for the record, is perfectly okay under the most normal, pandemic-free circumstances, and is even more perfectly okay right now. Either way, we're about to make the jump from one stepping stone to another, and that jump may be bigger for some than others. But before we each take that leap into what's next, I hope we all can appreciate the Lafayette-shaped stone we currently stand on and embrace the ones we're about to move on to. Whether it's one big stone or many little stones, become fascinated with them. Each will serve its own purpose, and each will be different from the last. I hope we all can make that jump as seamlessly as possible and not be afraid to get our feet a little wet on the way down.
According to the American Film Institute, the 4th greatest movie quote of all time was spoken by Judy Garland back in 1939. Toto, I've a feeling we aren't in Kansas anymore. 81 years later, those words ring more true than ever. In fact, so far, the year 2020 is offering clear and perfect vision that the world around us looks nothing like it did before. If you and I thought a brainless scarecrow, a heartless tinman, a cowardly lion, and flying monkeys were enough to make anyone long for normal, the impact of the coronavirus goes way beyond anything the great Wizard of Oz could have anticipated. But no bucket of water will make this problem melt away. We might all long to hop into a hot air balloon and journey back to Kansas or the campus of Lafayette College to celebrate the class of 2020 like the last 184 graduating classes have all done. But that is not the reality you and I face today. At least we do get to gather without any worry about the weather and how long we need to sit in Kirby Sports Center before a quick lunch and then endure the beating sun, wind, or maybe even rain as we gather on Fisher Stadium, waiting for our seniors' moment of glory as they received their diploma from President Byerly. No, we aren't on the campus of Lafayette College today, but we are here. Wherever here is for each one of us. You see, I believe we are still the people God created us to be. Created us to be for this moment in history. Created you and me to be for each other in the world in the midst of our current normal. For you seniors, isn't that what these past 4 or so years have been all about? Preparing you to be more fully the person you were born to be. Not just one day in the future. Not only defined by a career or a job with an impressive title. Education and learning is a lifelong journey that enables us to be our best each and every day. For those of us who are parents of seniors, we knew this day was coming. And if we're truly honest, with it would come at least one thing: change. We've helped to make these past 4 years at Lafayette a reality for our daughters and sons. Perhaps that has involved some hardships, no doubt many challenges, as we have slowly let them go and be who they are becoming, and not just who it is that we want them to be. For all of us, graduation is a mixed bag of emotions. It is full of celebration of accomplishments and pride, while also being a time of grief and loss as we say goodbye and let go. And that has always been true for every graduating class of Lafayette College. Those in the early days of the institution that had no idea if the college would have a future. Those graduates who left the campus uncertain if there would be a united or divided states of America. Other graduating classes found themselves in the midst of a Great Depression, world wars, or a Cold War. Each and every graduating class has found themselves in a particular moment in time in history, with no guarantees of what the future would hold. In a recent sermon, I shared that the coronavirus has done something that no one nor thing has been able to do in all of history: unite us. Now, don't get me wrong, we are still more divided than we were created to be, by politics, race, economics, gender identification, and on and on. Yet the coronavirus knows nothing of those dividing lines that we trip over again and again. Today, it doesn't matter your political party affiliation, your nationality, whether you are gay, straight, bisexual, or transgender. What matters is that you and I come to terms with the fact that we are in this together. In this moment of history, in our families, in our communities, in the world. And you and I are called to live, work, survive, and thrive together, being the best that we can possibly be today and every day. Last week, my wife Barbara and I helped our younger daughter Emily move out of her apartment at Lafayette. We also took advantage of the quiet campus and took some pictures of our soon-to-be graduate around the campus. You know, the obligatory picture with the leopard, as well as one standing next to the Marquis de Lafayette in front of Colton Chapel. Now, while I have stood next to that statue several times before, it wasn't until that day that I saw the inscription on the back of the pedestal. It is these words from Lafayette himself. I read, I study. I examine, I listen, I think, and out of all that, I try to form an idea into which I put as much common sense as I can. Friends, as each of us take our leave from this chapter in our lives and the life of Lafayette College, may each one of us take the words of your college's namesake to heart. For such a time as this, may we commit to making informed decisions bathed with all the common sense we can supply.
Hi, I'm Katie.
I'm Gabby. Imagine, if you will, the first day of freshman year. I walk into Spanish class and realize that just about everyone here is older than me. This girl walks up to me and says, "Oh my God, are you Gabby Trop?" And the only response I can think of is, "Who are you?" Well, that's how Katie and I became friends.
Imagine walking into your second class of freshman year and seeing that girl you saw on your Camp Friends Instagram page wearing a Lafayette sweatshirt. Such a joy. That's how Gabby and I became friends.
Not all friendships at Lafayette start out with the most awkward encounter in the world. Some Lafayette friendships start out in the classroom. You find someone else to study with, share notes with, check in on when they miss class. Sometimes you even vent together about how much homework your professor gives.
Some friendships thrive in the arts, in orchestra rehearsals, choir concerts, or theater performances. Friendships are formed through the bonds that come with creating something beautiful together.
Some friends you meet because you both care about changing the world. You volunteer with them, raise awareness with them, and they always give you hope for your community.
Some friends are teammates. They lift you up during your successes and support you when you fail. They cheer you on, cheer you up, and become your family both on and off the field.
Some friends you meet by chance. They might be in your orientation group or live in your building or join the same club as you. Those friends remind us that we can bond over even the smallest commonalities and that finding common interests opens the door for connection.
Some friends leave Lafayette before you do. They graduate, they transfer, they go out in the world. Those friends remind us that relationships endure. They remind us that we are experts in staying connected without being in the same space. They show us the importance of welcoming the individuals that come after us and the resilience of our legacies on campus.
Some friends at Lafayette become friends for life. They have your back in hard times. They cheer you on in good ones. They're the friends that you know you'll see before reunions and with whom you'll relive the best moments of Lafayette forever.
Some friends become siblings. They know you as well as you know yourself and remind you of your value. These friends know how to make you laugh, know what to do for you when you cry. It's hard to imagine your world without these friends and the impact they've had.
Reflecting back, it seems that every activity, meal, formal, class, late-night study session, and movie night was Lafayette's way of ensuring that we come to campus a group of strangers and we leave a group of acquaintances, friends, and family. We don't see Lafayette as a sprawl of brick buildings anymore, but rather a landscape of memories and unforgettable moments. The class of 2020 has had a lot to bond over these last 4 years, after all.
No matter where we go or what we do, we are connected by the invisible campus that lives on in our relationships with each other. Never has that been more clear than now. No matter how far away we go, Lafayette will always welcome us home.
Congratulations to the class of 2020. Here's to many more years of friendship.
Hi everyone, my name is Eric Laux, and I'm a computer science and math major. There are a few important principles that I've learned during my time at Lafayette that I would like to share, and I'll explain them in the way I know best, through math. The first principle is that of fixed resources. Imagine you have 100 feet of wood. With that, you could do nothing, you could build a table, or you could build a fence. I've come to learn that it's better to build a longer table to welcome more at it than to build a taller fence that keeps others out. In the first half of our time here, most social discourse on campus was focused on calling people out and putting up walls to conversation. It was an incredibly divisive time for our community, and we are still feeling the effects of it. Instead of calling each other out, we should be pulling each other in. The second principle is that of boundary expansion. The set of processes and tools with which we operate as a community are portrayed as a fixed set, immune to change. However, if we question these assumptions and dare to go another route, we can permanently open the door for all of those after us to do the same. Many of the founding members of Refugee Action are in the class of 2020, and we challenge the process by dedicating ourselves to hosting and sponsoring the resettlement of refugee families in the Lehigh Valley. So many parts of the college have rallied around our cause, and in doing so have expanded the realms of possibility for their operations. The boundaries of what it is possible for a student organization to accomplish have been expanded through this work. The third principle is that of knowledge expansion. There are an infinite amount of things that we do not know, and a very, very finite amount of things that we do. Every time you learn something new, you move that thing into the finite set of knowledge you have. However, when you take one away from infinity, it still leaves you with infinity. Each of us will always have an infinite amount of things we don't know. Thus, we should maintain a healthy sense of curiosity and an openness to learn from and spread knowledge to each other, so that we may increase our finite set of knowledge as much as possible. Congratulations to the entire class of 2020, and I hope you are all staying safe. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Congratulations to the Lafayette College class of 2020. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Professor Lauren Myers of the Psychology Department. I'm a developmental psychologist, and in my field, we examine people's growth, change, and consistency throughout the lifespan. I've thought a lot recently about the development of your generation at this particular moment in time. Your generation is experiencing a unique and unprecedented moment in history. Different members of the class of 2020 have all been affected in different ways, depending on your individual circumstances. But you will all be telling your children and grandchildren about this time, when your senior year abruptly changed and you spent the original day of your graduation looking at a screen rather than celebrating on campus. This is not what you wanted, but you know what? You showed up. You did the hard thing. You adapted to your new circumstances in a rapidly changing world. I saw my students this semester continue to do creative, innovative, rigorous intellectual work, and you did this all under unprecedented circumstances. That's amazing. Take a minute and give yourself credit. You showed up for the hard thing and you thrived. As you go forward into this new stage of your development, you will continue to have these moments of uncertainty and worry. You'll ask yourself, can I do this? Just remember, you are doing it. You've already done hard things. You've already shown up. You've already thrived under unusual stress and unprecedented circumstances. Good luck. You can do this. The class of 2020 is prepared to work together, to make a difference, and to ask hard questions. It has been a privilege to be part of your growth and development. I look forward to celebrating with you and cheering you on from your academic home here at Lafayette College. Congratulations.
I shouldn't be here. Not here up on your screen graduating, not here at Lafayette, not here in America, not here. I shouldn't be here. There are two conflicts that I think are born to people like me when you come to a place like Lafayette. Conflicts that are pertinent to what I mean by people like me. What is it to say people like me? First, it's people who come to Lafayette and feel like Lafayette is not for them. People like me who can only know Lafayette through websites before arriving to start. People like me who have not had this much access to excess food, power, and the internet. And if it sounds like I'm coming from Africa, it's because I am. People who for some reason find themselves crying in the financial aid office for a $2,000 increase in their aid package. People who don't even know what downtown Easton looks like during their first year. And the only time they go out to eat is when they remember that some restaurants allow you to pay with Flex. The first conflict that I think is born is of being an imposter. Thinking that this college experience was created for a certain people, and one is just mooching off of that. Because the college fabric, whatever it may look like, was not woven for us, we think. It's like when you're using a towel at a friend's house that they offer you. You just sort of lightly dab and dry. You don't really wipe down, like it's yours. The second part pertains to people like me who come from very different cultural value contexts. For example, you grow up in a place that doesn't really like homosexuality. And you go into a college where you become great friends with someone before they tell you that they are gay. I tried to make the same joke about racism. Maybe you grew up in a neighborhood that doesn't really like black people, where it's not 3 months into the friendship that they tell you, I'm black, and you're like, what? Nevertheless, there is a second conflict here because of the exposure to difference. And these things are not singular granule-like reorientations of one philosophy, but whole worldview reorientations. And when such issues come up in class or conversation, you say to yourself, I shouldn't be here, because this is not your space, your circle, or your people. I shouldn't be here. So we have two conflicts, the first, an impostor conflict, and the second, a value conflict. And to each of them you say, I shouldn't be here. But let me be clear, it's not people like me, it's not students like me, it is me. It is me who walked into Miracle and burst out crying in the financial aid office because I couldn't afford to be here anymore. It is me who suffered deep questions of what my values are when faced with important moral conflicts. It's me who cried on the quad at my first family weekend here at Lafayette because I could feel this absolute otherness. It is me who still gets my college class textbooks from interlibrary loan because I can't afford them otherwise. I say every day to myself, I shouldn't be here. But at the same time, I am here. I shouldn't be here, but I am here. But as long as I'm here, I will continue to make the best of things that are before me. And I did. In speech and debate, on the board of trustees, on student government, as head of the Mill Series, as an Excel scholar, as a Williams Center for the Arts Fellow, and as ISA president. I was here and I made the best of things that were before me. So to my fellow graduates at the mouth of this new beginning, and for the million reasons that perhaps we should not be here, we are here. And as long as we are here, we must continue to make the best of things that are before us. Thank you.
1,362 days ago, on August 28, 2016, I enjoyed the distinct honor of welcoming you, Lafayette 2020, to our hilltop. Quite a lot has happened over the 32,688 hours since your matriculation on that gorgeous evening in front of Old Party.
You are Lafayette's 185th class, 612 strong, including the approximately 100 members of the class who are first in your family to attend a four-year institution. As a first-generation student myself, I know that you and your family marked this achievement together.
When I introduced you as a class for the first time, I referenced your collective spirit, dimension, wisdom, ingenuity, and hustle. We saw awesome promise in you then and celebrated its expression now in the myriad forms it has taken over the last 3 years, 267 days. 328 of you adventured abroad and planted Lafayette's flag all over this planet as part of your scholarly journey. 3 of you made international study a steady habit, engaging in 4 abroad experiences as a leopard. 16 earned distinguished academic awards, including Fulbrights, Goldwaters, and other beautifully prestigious awards. 200 leopards of 20 did not just absorb knowledge, they actively created it and now stand poised to graduate with honors. From carbon dioxide responsive hydrogels for diabetic wound healing to utilitarianism and agency, adjusting utility for moral responsibility, your honors theses span the broad spectrum of scholarship.
The class of 2020 also had a front row seat to Lafayette athletics climbing the hill, witnessing firsthand this year a 6th-place jump in the Patriot League's President Cup fall standings after the best fall athletic season in more than 25 years. 3 teams, field hockey, men's soccer, and football, finished in 2nd place in the Patriot League. And let's not forget victories over Lehigh in 7 sports. And, most important, a national ranking of 7th among NCAA programs in graduation success rate.
Lafayette 20, your fearless will to learn and the demonstrated energy you have to take action honors our beautifully idealistic, endlessly wise, and revolutionary namesake, the one who changed the world when he was your age. No pressure. You collectively engage in over 20,000 courses in pursuit of your degrees. Leopards in your elite participated in 476 internships and more than 120 externships through Gateway Career Center. Over 100 Leopards of 20 deployed their scholarship and talents for the benefit of others as they executed senior design projects or capstones to the Landis Center for Community Engagement. You pioneered remote learning at the college and shone brilliantly in these final 7 weeks of earning your Leopard spots as a soon-to-be-launched Lafayette graduate.
One thing we know for sure is that this class made a huge impact on College Hill during your 4 years here.
Amidst that late summer twilight glow in 2016, I left you with this. Faith, princess, lovejoy, grace, and kumbaya are all present in your leap of leopards. With these names in your mix, I believe it to be your responsibility to lead with care, interest, love, joy, and authenticity as you adventure through your Lafayette experience. Find what's and who's comfortable, but be bold and push beyond the comfortable. You will be well served when your education gets uncomfortable and your mind and heart open and remain open to new possibilities. While your class has been robbed of a senior spring, I believe that the challenge and frustration of these missing weeks pale in comparison to the power of relationships that define your Lafayette experience. Your class is bound like no other before it, and I know it will make up for lost time at each of your class reunions. Never has it been more important to ground your energy for life, learning, and postgraduate success, however you care to define it, with nimble footing that balances your drive to achieve, with love and care for yourself and for those with whom you share any component of life, especially your Lafayette classmates.
Your leadership, creativity, resilience, and drive are just what is needed in the world right now, and we can't wait for you to return to College Hill in the future. Please join us in singing the Lafayette College alma mater.
We'll gather by the twilight's glow.
Matt, the students are
in
singing.
front of all, come on, Annette, party.
Students are saying, Matt.
We'll gather by the twilight's glow in front of old party. In all the world no other scene so fair, so dear to me. Oh Lafayette, to thee our voices raise, while loyal lips and loyal hearts unite to sing thy praise. We'll gather by the twilight's glow in front of old party. In all the world no other scene so fair, so dear to me, and future years shall not erase these gems of memory rare, but oft will live the scene again, impressed so firmly there. Oh Lafayette, oh joyous college days, ere while these loyal hearts shall beat, we've loyal lips to praise. We'll gather by the twilight's glow in front of old party. In all the world no other scene so fair, so dear to me. We'll gather by the twilight's glow in front of old party. In all the world no other scene so fair, so dear to me.
Thank you to the members of the Lafayette Chamber Singers for leading us in the alma mater. I hope all of you at home were standing up and singing along. Thank you for everyone who took the time to gather together with us today. We are so grateful for each of you and truly hope we will be together soon to celebrate the class of 2020. After our benediction, please enjoy another montage of student photos, along with music from student singing group, the legendary Harmonies. May you all be blessed with peace and hope. May you all find love and be reconciled to those around you. May you develop a passion for helping others. May your spirits and minds be filled with serenity and integrity of heart. May all blessings flow to you, and may you send forth those blessings to the world. Amen.
Hi everyone, my name is Calvin Wright, a graduating senior with an economics and French double major, and we are the legendary Harmonies.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. When I see you again. We are here. We are here for all of us. We are here for all of us. Yeah. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. We are here. We are here. Yeah. We are here for all of us. All of us. We are here for all of us. And all of us, yeah. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. Yeah. Whoa. And let's talk about Corona. And let's talk about Wawa. And let's talk about senior year. Well, where the heck did it disappear? And let's talk spring semester. Why is it all over? Our souls are brought together so that we can love each other, brother. We are here. We are here. Yeah. We are here for all of us. Oh, we are here for all of us. Yeah. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. We are here. We are here. Yeah. We are here for all of us. Oh, we are here for all of us. Yeah. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. We are here. We are here for all of us. Oh, we are here for all of us. Yeah, yeah. That's why we